Welcome everyone to the Culture and Climate Station introduction. The culture team has really been working hard this year on putting together the culture and climate stations. For those to familiarize yourself with it, let's review page 10 on the MTSS Plan, which talks about where we already have building-wide Tier 1 activities going on. Then now we also have Tier 1 classroom activities going on, and one of those are considered the culture and climate station. All students will have access to these culture and climate stations where they will be taught to address SEL activities around things that are considered resolving minor conflicts, working on specific behaviors, for example, and also working on some of those soft skills. This is one of the things that we wanted to focus on during the 22-23 school year. So right now you're seeing a visual of what the culture and climate station will look like. We'll be focusing on the Castle 5 characteristics of a student, where we have self-awareness, where we have self-management, where we have responsible decision-making, we have social awareness, and also relationship skills. As I mentioned to you, this is something that is going to allow students to kind of reflect right in the classroom. What type of training are we going to be receiving as a teacher to understand how to better utilize our culture and climate station? Well, some representative from the culture and climate team, whether it be the MTSS specialist, whether it be the culture and climate specialist, all of us are going to be walking around throughout the course of this time, just checking in on how these stations are being utilized and continuously adding training to that. As you can see, some of the things you're going to be needing are going to be a desk. And in this particular classroom, the teacher sits here where she's identified this as her culture and climate station to better suit her needs in her classroom. Now, this can vary from classroom to classroom, but I would highly recommend that we put this desk somewhere off to the side where a student has the opportunity to reflect as the station's intentions are, okay? So as I mentioned, you'll need some type of desk. We will provide you with, someone from the team will come around and provide you with what we call in our wall of resources. All of these resources are resources that were generated either from online that are considered SEL activities or some type of Castle 5 activities, as well as the SRC room, that famous SRC room. Johnny Joe has been struggling with making the right decisions. I've watched him, I've given him demerits, I've talked to his parents. So I thought, maybe I'll try it this way today. Let me try to model it for you. Johnny Joe, today I want you to come here for a second. Johnny, come here for a second. All right, class, we're gonna continue working on our surveys while I work with Johnny here for a few seconds, but I want you to work on the surveys. If you have any questions, just hold those questions until I finish up with Johnny here, and then I'm gonna work with you guys. Johnny, come here. This is social problem solving strategies, okay? And what you're gonna do is, when you have a problem, it's important to take time to think about how we can actually solve it. Thankfully, there are many positive strategies we can use to solve the problems we face, right? Right? Okay, so let's look at some of these scenarios below and think about which strategy from the box will be helpful. Record the letter of your answer in the blanks to the left of each scenario. After you've done that, and again, take your time, no rush, I want you to also answer these two questions here. And then I'll come back to you and we'll talk about this later on, okay? So as you can see, I just modeled it, but I kept him in the classroom. He currently has 3 demerits, but I decided to keep him in the classroom because I want him to practice on some of these minor skill building activities. Some of the frequently asked questions, how do I use it? And to be honest with you, we're going to be creative with that. We're going to go around and we're going to film some of the teachers actually using the culture and climate station. Maybe have that as a shared video or ongoing training video on what to do. The way the culture and climate station is going to be used, I really think is going to benefit some of our kids to be able to reflect or recognizing certain things that we have as concerns in the classroom with the student, with hopes that this keeps kids from getting called down from the culture and climate team and things of that nature. How often should it be used? There's no limit. I recommend that you try with every student to some degree so it doesn't feel like a student is coming over here because they're in trouble. Just think about it. If we use it from that aspect, I think we'll get a lot of participation from students. Now, the layout of the file folder may vary from grade bands. K-2 may look like this, 3-6 it may look like that, 7-12 it may look like this, but part of our plan is to make this a classroom effort that we're going to help some of these tier 1 interventions that we're trying to look at with our students. Where do I locate the activities for the culture and climate station? We're going to provide this to you within the next week. Everyone's going to receive this, but we wanted to kind of put together an example to show you first prior to moving on. And as I mentioned, there will be ongoing training with this, as I feel like as we look into our distinguished instruction, our culture and climate, our matrix, all the things that we're putting together in our 3-year comprehensive plan for building a culture of excellence and taking what I consider that balanced approach towards our culture here at IMSA North.